This is the Tesla turbine, an incredible machine that was somewhat ahead of its time. Light and compact, it was capable of producing over 100 horsepower. It has far fewer moving parts than internal combustion engines, making it more reliable, cheaper, and easier to maintain. It works with various fluids and a wide range of temperatures. It is perhaps one of the most elusive inventions of its time, and back in the 1900s, it wasn't just a better alternative to internal combustion engines. It was the perfect choice. As Nikola Tesla's major public invention, this turbine was supposed to save him from financial ruin, except that it didn't. Nikola Tesla was a prolific inventor, and he was inventing things till his dying days. While most of his famous inventions occurred during the late 1800s, it was during the early 1900s that two of his most obscure but promising inventions came to life: the Tesla turbine and the Tesla valve. Tesla worked on his turbine during the early 1900s and patented in 1915. Chasing a long-life dream, Tesla developed the turbine with the intent of using it on airplanes, another example of how ahead of his time he was. Witnessing the limitations of internal combustion engines, where the best ones provided at most 50 horsepower and weighed 86 kilograms, Tesla knew that there was a market to be explored. Not only the first airplanes would require smaller, powerful, and reliable engines, but so do other methods of transportation. Internal combustion was nowhere near those qualities. In 1906, he produced his first prototype, a mini turbine with 8 discs and 15 centimeters in diameter, 4.5 kilograms in weight, and 30 horsepower output. While the Tesla turbine achieved impressive 35,000 RPM, torque was only 6.1 Nm. As a reference, the Tesla Model S Plaid has a torque of 1,423 Nm, so don't expect to go from 0 to 100 km an hour in 2 seconds with the Tesla turbine. But high RPMs introduced another issue. The discs would stretch out of shape. Tesla realized the low torque issue and managed to solve it by increasing the number of discs and by adjusting the gap in between them. To solve disc warping, he limited RPM and increased disc diameter from 15 to 30 centimeters, generating 100 horsepower. Mind you that this was likely achieved with more than just 8 discs. Later, he decreased disc diameter to 25 centimeters and lowered RPM to 9,000. The result was 110 horsepower. While most internal combustion engines at the time could only produce 50 horsepower and weighed over 85 kilograms, his turbine was an impressive achievement. The Tesla turbine had incredible potential. It was just a matter of time and more investment to get things right. So what happened? By the late 1800s, Tesla's reputation was completely tarnished. After decades of relentless attacks from fellow inventors, media, and the government, it became simply too hard for him to secure any cash flow. Most of his patents were already or going to expire, and his reputation as a mad scientist, thanks largely in part from Thomas Edison spreading false rumors, and of course, Tesla's eccentric lifestyle kept new investors away from him. Right around that time, steam-powered machines were on their last leg, as the turbine was meant to be used with it. However, internal combustion engines were gaining popularity. While they were still incredibly heavy and offered low power, there were several advantages. While steam engines offered high torque, fuel flexibility, smooth operation, and had a very well-established technology, their disadvantages summarized their fall out of preference. They were slow to start, incredibly complex, large, heavy, required constant supply of water, and produced significant amounts of smoke. Internal combustion engines were compact, had quick start capability, higher efficiency, fewer parts, and drastically lower emissions. All in all, they still had their own disadvantages, such as limited fuel options, lower torque, vibration, noise, and ignition system dependency. The Tesla turbine managed to unite the best of both worlds, with only one small disadvantage: low torque. However, Tesla was about to fix that problem when things went south. In 1906, he was still recovering from a nervous breakdown and put all his efforts into the turbine. His ideal was to create a turbine that could deliver more horsepower per kilogram of machine, but it took him years to develop. 3 years later, he finally had his prototype ready and was sure that he could secure investments, so much so that he created the Tesla Propulsion Company. Confident that his invention was going to be a success, he arranged to demonstrate his turbine at the waterside power station of the New York Edison Company in 1911. Essentially, he wanted to show off how powerful his turbine was, given its size, so he developed a strategy. The final nail in the coffin was the start of the Great War in 1914, as he lost the little financial support he had. Almost all minds shifted towards financing the war, and he was unable to continue the development of his turbine. Had him developed the turbine faster, things could have worked his way. During the wartime, internal combustion engines saw incredible development. By 1920, they had completely taken over the market. In a last attempt to stay in the game, Tesla repurposed his turbine into an internal combustion version, but to no avail. By the beginning of the 1920s, his financial problems were extensive, with no reputation left to his name.